everyone, it's Emma here, and today I am talking through the topic, how do you relieve acid reflux? So especially from the Avogo helpline, it seems that acid reflux is quite a common digestive symptom. Understandably, it's quite uncomfortable. People are keen to help relieve it often quickly, but then if it's recurrent, of course, we always want to try and get to the root of the cause and try and manage it longer term. So just a brief outline as to why this might be happening. It's quite a common misconception or is a bit of a debate that the reflux is occurring because there's too much stomach acid. Physiologically, it makes more sense that what is actually happening is we have too little stomach acid, and regardless of the amounts of the stomach acid, what's really technically happening is the stomach acid is getting to the wrong place. It's making its way through the lower esophageal sphincter into your esophagus, and that's where we experience the pain. But it is certain conditions in the stomach that are more likely to cause a malfunction of the LES, and low stomach acid is more likely to be a part of that. Also, again, physiologically, we're just more likely to have too little stomach acid. As we get older, our digestion becomes less efficient, and another huge driving factor for having too little stomach acid, which then drives these symptoms, is stress. So stress somewhat shuts down your digestive system and means that it isn't working as efficiently, and this is a bit of a survival mechanism which I talk about quite a lot. This situation can also be worse by the long-term use of certain medications such as PPIs or antacids, because as we know, these are driving stomach acid levels down, and this state in the long term can contribute to these symptoms even more so. So as I say, I want to talk a little bit about how we can manage it, but thinking on a longer term basis. Of course, some of the remedies that I'm going to mention can help to manage it quite quickly. I'm just thinking, actually, I'm just going to grab one more while I'm here that's come to mind. Sorry, and so they can work quickly, but I'm always wanting to think through how we can manage it longer term. So first on my list is to manage stress. So I've talked about stress in terms of how it shuts down your digestive system. So obviously, traditionally, acute scenarios of stress, short-term stress was okay because your digestion wasn't priority in that short-term bout of stress, and then your digestion would recover once the stress is over. Nowadays we have the problem where we have situations of chronic stress that's more ongoing, and this is when your digestion can suffer when it's being continually put on the back burner. Stress is obviously so individual in terms of how you're able to manage it. Sometimes we don't have control over certain aspects of stress, but what I would say is to try and introduce any areas of your life or interventions where you do have control over, such as stress management techniques, for example, and that could help to potentially minimise the effects of the stress on your digestion. But then if stress is a tricky one to try and manage, then we can try and overrule that stress response on your digestion by trying to introduce some remedies. So my first port of call is for that quick relief to soothe the symptoms. So this is often what people want to do initially. And this is a remedy I was just grabbing there. So this is what you would maybe want to introduce in the first instance. So this is silicol gel. It's very soothing, anti-inflammatory. It helps to manage that pain. So it is indicated for heartburn there, and reflux as well. So this can help to really soothe the symptoms, especially in that short term. So you can take that quite quickly as well. But then going forward, we want to really try and manage that underlying digestive insufficiency. So what's really driving that symptom, and as I've said, low stomach acid is quite often a part of that. So we have the next remedy I want to talk about is Digestazane. So this is indicated and licensed for symptoms of indigestion and flatulence. Within indigestion, we know that acid reflux is quite often a symptom. And this is a herbal remedy complex containing some bitter herbs such as boldo, alongside other ingredients such as artichoke and dandelion, which are also quite bitter in taste as well. And this bitterness helps to really gently stimulate your stomach acid. Nowadays in our modern society, we quite often don't have many bitter elements in our diet. We have a lot of sweet and savoury tastes, and that bitterness is so important for naturally supporting your stomach acid. And once your stomach acid is supported, that also helps to drive the secretion of other digestive enzymes. So this is a really important first step. Alongside just taking your time, having your bitters before your meals, really chewing your food properly, and those other lifestyle factors that we often talk about. Next on my list is to watch your water intake, and the reason I've labelled it up as watch your water intake is because of course we want you to have a good water intake, up to 2 litres for most people, in order to support your digestion as well as all other systems of your body. But what I often recommend is to try and separate your waters from your meals. And this just goes back to that stomach acid that I've talked about so passionately. We need stomach acid in the correct quantities and in the correct pH. Your body works really hard to secrete that acid in the correct pH, quite a strong acid. So if we go in with a big load of water when that's just been secreted, then we can affect that. Number 5 on my list is to keep up with zinc. So zinc is actually a very important mineral for supporting the stomach, and this works in a number of ways. There is some research to suggest that it may affect the stomach acid levels, and also quite likely how it's doing that is supporting the function of the LES, that sphincter that's so important for helping to keep the acid in the right place. So rather than inhibiting the acid or anything like that, it's likely that we are going to support that LES to keep it in your stomach. Zinc also helps to protect the stomach, the lining of the stomach as well. It's quite protective, and that can help protect against some symptoms of acid reflux or ulcers or those kind of symptoms. So it's very protective and helps the functions of the stomach. Also, unfortunately, certain medications such as the PPIs could potentially deplete zinc. So this is where we would want to consider to add some more zinc in. So something like our balanced mineral drink can help to provide you with the zinc. And also this comes in combination with other nutrients such as calcium, and the calcium is actually in a form, calcium lactate, which is actually very stomach friendly. It's very good for your stomach as well. So that would definitely be one to consider if you're keen to add in nutrients beyond the silical and then the herbal bitters. Last on my list, just to sum up really, is just to raise a medication review. So as a nutritionist, we would never contradict your doctor's advice. But what I would just say is if you have been on a PPI or an antacid medication for quite long term, read the information leaflet first of all, just so you have a better understanding of any side effects and also the length of time you should ideally be taking it. And if you feel that you've been on it perhaps on the longer term side of things, and or your symptoms haven't got better or have even got worse for what they were originally prescribed for, then it would definitely be worth chatting to your doctor. So remedies like our Digestazan, also we've got other herbal bitter remedies such as yarrow, centurium. They're really lovely options as well. None of these have contraindications with medications such as your stomach meds, your PPIs, your antacids, so it would be fine to take them at the same time, but they are working in quite different ways, so that's why we would urge you to have a medication review if you haven't for a while and you're still experiencing symptoms. So I hope that helps. As always, please do comment and ask any questions below or on our Avogo website where we have our helpline team. They're happy to help you. And please do subscribe to our Avogo YouTube channel and also hit the bell icon so you will be notified of any future videos that myself and our team release. Thanks, take care everyone, and speak soon.